morning to everyone. Today we are going to see about the European settlements, how far Portuguese settled in India, and in this module we are going to see the objectives of the Portuguese settlements in India. And what are the objectives in this module? To paraphrase the Portuguese settlements in India, to analyze the achievements of the Portuguese in India. Introduction. The advent of the Portuguese in India marks a significant chapter in the history of exploration and trade. It was a time when brave sailors set out on perilous voyages across uncharted waters, driven by a thirst for discovery and the promise of riches. In this module, we will delve into the fascinating story of how the Portuguese ventured into the Indian subcontinent, forever altering the course of history. Portuguese India was a small country within India from 1505 to 1961. The Portuguese set up trading spots and strongholds along the coast of India, mainly in places like Goa, Daman, Diu, Dadra, Nagar Haveli. They didn't control much of India like the British did. In 1961, the Indian government took over these Portuguese areas, and that was the end of the Portuguese rule in India. These places became part of India as a new country. Vasco da Gama's voyage. How Vasco da Gama entered into India and what are his achievements, we are going to see in this module. In 1498, Vasco da Gama achieved a monumental feat by becoming the first European to reach India by sea. Departing from Portugal, his expedition navigated treacherous waters around the Cape of Good Hope, eventually making landfall on the shores of Calicut, present-day Kozhikode, in southern India. This historic voyage opened up direct maritime trade between Europe and India by passing the overland routes controlled by middlemen. What brought European powers to Indian subcontinent? Luxury for goods in Europe. For a long time, Europeans wanted fancy things like silk from China and spices from places like India and Southeast Asia. And what are the reasons for these luxury goods in Europe? That is the Constantinople fall or fall of Constantinople. When Constantinople was taken over by the Ottoman Turks in 1453, trade routes changed. Stuff from India started going through Arab intermediaries to Europe. And this is the need for new routes in European countries. Europeans wanted to find a way to get these goods without going through middlemen. And this is the settlements which Portuguese entered into India, and they made tremendous efforts to develop trade and commerce in India. So the explorers from Spain and Portugal got help from northern Europeans who gave them money and people. They also got ships and know-how from Genoa, a city in Italy. Portuguese leadership. Portugal's ruler Dom Henrique, also called Henry the Navigator, was a big supporter of exploration. He wanted to compete with Arabs and other Europeans and spread Christianity to Asia and Africa. Renaissance and the influence of Renaissance. How Renaissance influenced the Portuguese to settle in India. The Renaissance period encouraged people to explore new places including the East. Treaty of Tordesillas. In 1494, Portugal and Spain agreed that Spain would get lands west of a certain line and Portugal would get lands to the east. This gave Portugal the chance to explore the Indian Ocean freely. And what are the attempts made by Portuguese in India? Portugal and Spain were among the first European countries to try to find new routes to India. Their traders and sailors, helped by their governments, played big roles during the age of discoveries. Columbus and Vasco da Gama in 1494, Columbus tried to find a way to India but ended up discovering America instead. Meanwhile, Vasco da Gama successfully found a new sea route to India in 1498. The Portuguese were the first Europeans to enter India directly. Vasco da Gama's journey to Calicut through Africa's Cape of Good Hope was a big deal. The goods he bought back from India made a huge profit, much more than what they cost. Success in Lisbon's perspective. Despite facing problems, the Portuguese government saw the expedition as success. Finding a new sea route that bypassed the Ottoman Empire was a big deal. It made a lot of money, more than what they spent, and opened doors for future trade with India and beyond. Goa and its consolidation of power. In 1510, the Portuguese took control of Goa from the ruler of Bijapur during Alfonso de Albuquerque's rule. After this, they explained their power along the Asian coast from the Strait of Hormuz to the Strait of Malacca, including places like the Indonesian Spice Islands. Portuguese trade and goods. The Portuguese were known for trading valuable things like cloth, wood, pearls, spices, medicine, dishes, silk and gold. They used their power in the region to make profitable trade connections. Struggle of power. Establishment of Cochin. Vasco da Gama's trips and conflicts with the Zamorin kingdom led to the Portuguese setting up a base on India's Malabar coast. Francisco de Almeida, the first viceroy, picked Cochin as his main spot. Decline of Portuguese power. Seizure of colonial outposts. In 1954, groups like the United Front of Gonds took over Daman and Nagar Haveli was captured by the Azad Gomantak Dal, challenging Portuguese control. Even though the International Court of Justice said they should give up their territories in India, the Portuguese did not listen really, stopping protest and refusal to give up. When people protested against Portuguese rule in Goa, the government led by dictator Antonio de Salazar used violence to stop them. Despite many requests, the Portuguese government did not want to give up their territories, saying they were an important part of Portugal. Indian government's approach. From 1951 to 1961, the Indian government waited and watched what was happening. They talked to other countries about ending colonialism while stopping trade with the Portuguese colonies. Recognition of Indian sovereignty and better relations. Salazar's government did not accept that India had control over Goa until 1970s. But after Salazar's government ended, India and Portugal started getting along better and their relationship improved. Conclusion. The arrival of the Portuguese in India was a pivotal moment in world history, making the dawn of a new age of exploration and trade. Their exploits laid the groundwork for future European expansion in the region and left an indelible imprint on the cultural landscape of India. As we reflect on this chapter of history, we are reminded of the transformative power of human curiosity and the enduring legacy of cross-cultural exchange. Thank you for watching us modules, and in the next module we can see about the Dutch expansion in India. Thank you.